YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey here as Watcher of Realms. We are back with another installment of VOD review, realistically speaking. Thankfully, we're in season 7 now, so we got a lot to kind of like look forward to. So first and foremost, we're going to go over the attacks, then we're going to go over the defenses. Realistically speaking, there's only one defense worth mentioning because I'm stupid and I forgot to go ahead and gear my Nightmare team. So oops, I messed up, right? So let's just go ahead and go through it. There's some decent strategies that were involved, at least in these couple of runs, because of the teams that they were using. Thankfully, they used some Cultist teams, some Nightmare teams, some Arbiter teams, some Chaotic teams, so we got a really good kind of mismatch of different comps and metas, and it's kind of cool. So, all right. This is going to be the Nightmare team. We were able to kind of go ahead and beat this. Relatively simple process, right? So what we're going to go ahead and do first is we're going to drop the tank, then the Fool. The whole reason for that is because we need the tank to take Wukong's ult, and then also to just deal with Ajax. Now, they are using an Artemis here, so I could have also gone ahead and used Garnet Guards to take this out, but I wanted to go ahead and essentially do this as if everything was a standard comp. Now, even with this placement, not necessarily too standard, you normally see these Nightmare comps over here. So, a couple of variations in terms of their placements and the units that they're using. This Artemis kind of helps for anti-heal, but we're not really going to use that much healing. So, tank is surviving really easily. We drop the double Necros. All they need to do is just kind of survive and deal with Ajax ult, and then also force Hotsit to proc her ult as well. If all that works, then we're really happy, and it does. So, at this point, we have all these units stacking up. Our tank is still looking really good in terms of HP, and our healer is starting to kind of give us additional sustainability. As long as these units tank Ajax ult, we should be able to go ahead and set up the first dog run, and they should go ahead and easily pass because we already see that units are on top of Wukong. So there we go. So these should kind of start passing through here. And they do. So first dog and then the tank. And at this point, we're good to go ahead and set another set of dogs through. And we're good to go, right? Wukong is dead. This is super, super simple overall at this point. So that's GG. Right? Takes no effort. Whenever you see a Nightmare comp, the easiest thing and honestly the smart thing to do is just go ahead and swarm it. It's so simple. Especially if they're not running Arrogance. Ajax, yeah, he helps, but Arrogance gives you like a really big punch, especially considering Necros are actually really, really resistant to magic damage. So that's where Arrogance kind of like fits in. So this is another team here. This is a Northerner team, a little bit of a weird mismatch of like units. So it was a little bit interesting to just go ahead and insta-chow. So first things first, right? We see Nyx here, we see Ardea here. Also, we see Mari here. So couple of like alarm bells kind of ring. One, Ardea, she's going to be really good for kind of taking out these units here. So I dropped the tank because I want to see just how much damage does she really do, like truly. And then also I'm trying to go ahead and proc Nyx ult here. So we should be good to go. The Fool goes ahead and puts the shield on. Nyx should ult. Ardea's chunking, right? So we're looking really good, right? Nyx isn't really doing too much damage. Is negligible compared to what our Fool is able to shield, and then Ardea is also not doing that much, at least in her pre-ult state. So the next step, realistically speaking, is we're going to go ahead and drop double flyers right after this. And let's see here. Actually, I dropped double dogs. Interesting. So here's why I do that. I dropped the double dogs because I have one block here, so I should have at least 3 dogs get past to go ahead and hit Ardea. Ardea is not in heal range, so anything that hits Ardea should realistically take her out. And there we go. Super simple. Now I probably go ahead and drop the flyer. Now here's the purpose of this. And Mari kind of makes this a little bit weird because she provides such a significant slow. But essentially, I'm banking on my flyer being able to tank Nyx all the way through this despite being frozen, despite being slowed. I'm really just banking on my BP here to kind of finish the job for me. So if you want to do a variation of this, you could do double tank and Fool and then run the dogs through, and you'd get basically the exact same result I was just really, really confident in my flyers being able to tank. So drop the flyer. He's kind of doing his job. These other flyers here. One other thing that you might not know, healers actually do heal flyers. You can't use the full on flyers, but healers, for some reason, are coded, I guess because they're AoE heals, technically. They're providing healing to these units, right? So we're seeing that 23k pop up on these units. We're seeing 115k occasionally. So that's where it comes from. So at this point, Mari's just freezing, but we're pretty good to go here, right? This might die, but I'm really confident that this other one will survive, especially considering the distance from Nyx. So there we go. Mari's gone, so this is a GG run. Super, super simple, right? This is me just really trusting in my flyers to get the job done. Now, this next comp is a little bit different. I believe this next comp is going to be the Chaotic team, which I think it was like 504k BP. I actually really was curious to see how it would function. Also, there's a couple of RNG components that are actually involved in running any good Chaotic team. So here it is. Just about 504. So not bad. So here's the RNG that's involved. Valdron will go ahead and have the potential to do AoE hit whenever he's sub 50% HP, right? So he has like a higher rate the lower he is. So Carnelian is perfect for that because she's always going to keep him below 50%. So that's going to be constant activation, most likely on the AoE hit. Secondly, we have Ajax here, which is also nice for them because it kind of, you have 6 block between these two units. Ajax should go ahead and do a decent chunk of damage on these specific tiles. And then also Sargak is also amazing because he's going to go ahead and kind of shred these units as well. So multitude of factors here. I really wanted to see just how strong this comp is. And overall, it's pretty strong. It's like pretty solid. However, you are allocating a ton of resources for this comp to work, right? You're using a Brokir, you're using a Valdron, which is not that important, but you're also investing in Carnelian. So your second team might actually struggle from dumping so many resources into this specific Chaotic team. But as a team one, it's kind of good. So I go ahead, I drop the tank, I drop the Fool, and I kind of start setting up the Swarm. Now, one of the negatives is, watch this, Valdron is going ahead and just dumping AoE hits, right? So let's see. 3 no AoEs, AoE hit. AoE hit. Now I'm starting to get ulted by Ajax. And our Swarm is building, right? I probably dropped dogs here. And what I need is these Necros to honestly survive. But we're just not getting that lucky, right? Unfortunately, Sargak is ulting. Valdron's doing AoE hits and he's ulted. So everything that gets hit by him is getting one shot. And then also Ajax is doing a pretty good job as well. But this next set of dogs also runs through here. We start putting pressure. We actually proc Brokir's passive. So realistically speaking, probably could have just gone ahead and killed this team and it would have worked. But hindsight's 2020, right? So, Chaotic team, congrats, you win this one, right? It's a decent placement, works really good, especially if you're able to go ahead and get some really good Valdron ults, or not ults, but Valdron AoE damages, right? So let's go ahead and see this. So this one I was actually kind of interested in, because every time I see like a Cultist team, I just want to see how it works. So this is a Demi, Anora, Ymrit team, so decent allocation of like units. The only thing is it's Cultist, right? If it was esoteric, there's a strat for it, which is not that hard, but Cultists are a little bit interesting. Now the reason why is because Demi has a very unique AoE, not AoE, but like attack range. So all this is in point of damage. Ymrit goes ahead and also has ult, right? So we're just going to do the normal setup. Go ahead and drop the Feral Guard, drop the Fool. Super simple. The next step is we're going to go ahead and kind of load this up. Let's kind of speed this up here. Double dogs. So I'm dropping double dogs because I want to go ahead and kill Ymrit. That's my main focus. If I can at least get 2 dogs through, I'm happy. I do. So these 2 dogs, technically 3 actually, are going to chunk Ymir down into egg form. Unfortunately, this is where I say that Demi has interesting range that makes this tricky. She stops focusing on the Pharaoh Guard and starts attacking the dogs. So she does take them out. At this point, it's a little bit tricky, but super simple, right? We went ahead and took out Ymir. We have healers, we have necros, and we have Pharaoh Guards. What do? We swarm them, right? So we go ahead and drop the next Pharaoh Guard. That way we have 2 blocks set up on Regulus. That means he only has 2 remaining. So whenever we go ahead and pop out these necros, it's going to be a lot easier for us to kind of get past. Also, we have seen that they're not really doing any damage to this Pharaoh Guard. So 2 of these, they're going to survive. They're not going to die, right? So we have these necros set up. We're going to drop the healer now. And we should go ahead and see the necros spawn up behind Regulus any second now. Actually, we just bumped them. We go ahead and bump the Pharaoh Guard and the skeleton. So that's perfect. And we spawn up another set of skeletons right here. And they just instantly just walk through. At that point, it's GG. It doesn't even matter how much damage Demi does, because we went ahead and bumped the Pharaoh Guards. So this Pharaoh Guard is going to be fine. He's not going to die under any circumstance. And that's GG. Super simple. Super simple. I like the team though. I feel like Demi helped in a lot of ways, but she also kind of hurt, right? Because once the units got behind her, she stopped doing damage to the front line, which means the necros were basically taking only damage from Anora, and that's nothing in the grand scheme of things. All right, let's see here. Look at this. Arbiter team. A little bit different though. A little bit different in terms of placement. Also, this isn't a... I guess this is a standard Arbiter team. I think the exception is if you have Ingrid too, right? Because then it's not really like an Arbiter team. You have like a God Squad. So we go ahead. We drop the Pharaoh Guard. We drop the Fool. Now, this is honestly all going to be really standard processes, right? We're going to kind of fill up the map, tank it up, and then our goal is to go ahead and take out Valkyra. So we go ahead and drop the Pharaoh Guard. He's going to tank the Praetus ult because Praetus does no damage initially. Even though on his first ult, it literally doesn't matter. Once you get to ult 5, then it's like a whole different ball game, right? So we go ahead, we drop the Necro and the Healer. This is very intentional because I need to at least kind of fill up Regulus's block so I can feel comfortable with either putting pressure on Constance or putting pressure on Valkyra. So also, the reason why we drop the Necros is because they're going to spawn up their skeletons, and Praetus, because he's stupid, will go ahead and hit the skeletons most of the time instead of hitting the Pharaoh Guard. So we go ahead and set up this again. We drop another set of Necros. So at this point, we have filled up all the block for Regulus. Valkyra, she's doing damage, but it's not that big of a deal considering we have our healer also sustaining up the skeletons. Now we push through. Constance is ulted, which is honestly perfect for me in this particular scenario because she's dead. Reason being is also she didn't have her exclusive, so that doesn't mean she's not healing when she's ulting. So that also kind of helped inform my decision as to what I wanted to do. At this point, this is pretty GG, right? We just run it down at this point. There we go. Dogs are there. That's honestly one of the most important things of watching these teams. Just quickly glance to see what artifacts they're using, because artifacts will drastically kind of alter how the team kind of functions. Like Constance not being able to heal during her ult means that, oh, my dogs are going to take her out with relative ease, right? So let's go ahead and look at some of the L's that we took. So this is the Ingrid team. Frustrating that Ingrid. All right, so super simple, right? This is going to be an Ingrid team. Unfortunately, Ingrid teams are just disgusting. Ingrid as a unit is disgusting. So basically what happens here, right? We have Arrogance, we have Regulus, we have Wukong. So we have 8 block in totality. So there's a limited amount of ways that we can really deal with this. And if Ingrid's A3, then Ingrid's A3, right? So we go ahead and drop the Pharaoh Guard, and then we go ahead and drop the Fool. Our main hope is that one, Ingrid's not A3, and that our Pharaoh Guard is able to tank relatively easily. Now he does tank. That's not really a concern. However, here's where the concern will be, right? So we have the double swarm kind of starting up, and then we also have the healer. So what we need to do is kind of fill up the map enough and be tanky enough so that we can go ahead and set up the double dogs to kind of run through, put pressure on Wukong, and then also put pressure on Arrogance. So here we go. We have the map kind of built up here, and here we go. We kind of wait for 10 cost, which is understandable to go ahead and drop the dogs, because otherwise, right, the dogs are going to get dropped and then get hit by Ingrid, and they might just die anyways. So we wait for the 10 cost once the map is kind of filled up here, and we're really banking on being tanky enough to survive Ingrid. So here we go. The dogs are running through. They put pressure on Wukong, but unfortunately, right, our Necros died. So if they survived a little bit longer, this would have been a successful one, but because they died, right, not much we can do there. It's just a GG run at that point. Ingrid is disgusting, especially in this map, because of her infinite range, right? So we go ahead and attack the team again, because I want to see if this strat works, because this does work with the Praetus Ingrid teams. So let's go ahead and see, right? We drop the Pharaoh Guard, we drop the Fool. We go ahead, wait for the 10 cost. Double bugs, right? So here's what we're hoping for, right? We need 10 units, right? Because 8 of them are going to get blocked. So we have enough units to get through if they survive. So here we go. We send them down. Ingrid does her hit. Then Wukong is also going to start chunking these units down. And unfortunately, Wukong actually goes ahead and ults one of the units, and Ingrid at the last second hits them right here. Right when they're getting into the portal. So unlucky. That's just the way it crumbles, right? We got a ton of block and also just a ton of damage stacked between these two units, and that was the difference maker. So GG, Ingrid, disgusting, right? Can't even complain. And then let's see here, we do our final attack, and then we have one defense that's worth note, right? Because it was geared. So we go ahead. It's a normal Nightmare comp. This is the typical placement for the Nightmare units. So we go ahead, drop the tank, the Fool, and then we kind of set up the swarm shortly after here, right? We go ahead and drop the double Necros at 10 cost back on either one of these two tiles. It really doesn't matter. I usually drop them like right here. And then we go ahead and drop the healer. There we go. And then we go wait the 10 cost and drop the double dogs. At this point, right, we've already gone ahead and procced Hotset ult. Arrogance is ulted. And we have Arrogance taking out these skeletons, but our Necros are all the way over here. So we're good to go, right? So, dogs in 3, 2, 1. Double dogs. Double dogs. And I messed up here, right? I staggered them, but it doesn't even matter, right? Because we have so many units kind of stacked up here, and we're tanky enough. First set of dogs will push through, proc Hotset ult, which they do. The second dogs will go ahead and put pressure on Wukong and Arrogance and force Lily ult. And there we go. Easy. Super simple. Super simple. And I'll go ahead and showcase my Ingrid defense. Just because that was the only one that was geared, and somebody decided that they wanted to go ahead and attack it. So let's go ahead and watch that, and then that'll be it, right? So let's see. Here we go. So they do this. First things first, right? Their demon level's a little bit low. So let's go ahead and abort auto fight. There we go. So here we go. They go ahead and drop the Knight of Destruction. He's already getting chunked out by Praetus Hammer. This is going to be a very fun one, right? Second he gets into Ingrid range, he's going to get zapped to oblivion. There we go. Praetus is going to ult, and he is gone. Good night. Right? So they go ahead and drop the double flyers. Now they are getting hit by Praetus hammer, so they're getting chunked low. And now they're in Ingrid range, right? So Ingrid, that's one lightning guard down. That's the second one down. Before they even get to Constance, they do force Ingrid to swap to single target mode, but one of the beautiful things is the second you go ahead and put more than 2 units in Ingrid's range, she's going to swap back to AoE mode, right? So Praetus, he's going to chunk out this unit, even though Ingrid's doing nothing. And here we go. Ingrid's swapped over. Good night. 2 units showed up. That means she's going to swap. And this is murder she wrote. This is just GG. So yeah, pretty simple. Anyways, those were the attacks and the defenses. See ya.